Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another Pokemon TCG video. Today we're going to look at the deck that arguably dominated the first week of the regional championships in Philadelphia and in Phoenix. That's going to be an Yveltal Seismitoad Garbodor deck. Now we've seen Yveltal EX and Garbodor be paired plenty of times, but a lot of people felt like you would lose a lot of strength after Dark Patch rotated out of the format. But no, that doesn't seem to be the case at all. A staggering amount of Yveltal EX decks made the top 32 on the first day in the standard format of the regional championships. So let's take a look at a pretty common list for this kind of a thing. I don't have anybody's exact list, but here's a guess at what a list would look like for this kind of a deck. So of course we know what Yveltal EX does at this point. Evil Ball does a lot of damage. Y Cyclone probably going to be used more often now that Dark Patch is not in the format, since it can conserve energy, move it to the bench. Pretty strong attack. Resistance to fighting helps a lot against those Landorus EX kinds of decks. It just really helps out. Every resistance, every little bit you can reduce damage from Landorus EX helps a lot. So I think that's one of the main reasons Yveltal EX is so successful. A lot of people trying to use fighting decks get stopped in their tracks by Yveltal EX. So we've seen this card quite a bit. And of course we also have the regular Yveltal with Oblivion Wing. This can be your source of energy acceleration now that we don't have Dark Patch. Usually just going to use Oblivion Wing, nice non-EX attacker. Darkness Blade is an option in rare situations, but we won't see it too often. Now, the main addition to this deck is going to be Seismitoad EX. Now, a lot of people have tried to build decks around Seismitoad. Quaking Punch is a devastating attack. You can use it as quickly as turn 1, take away your opponent's item cards, and it's just so powerful. But you can also just use them as kind of a supplementary role. Right? We can have this entire strategy of the deck, try to use Yveltal EX, and then Seismitoad is just kind of good. So we'll throw him in as, we just have 2 of them in this deck. We'll just kind of throw him in here. You never know when Quaking Punch will come in handy. This absolutely shuts down any Stage 2 deck, stops them from playing Rare Candy, and again, very good against Landorus EX. Quaking Punch in general can just buy you all sorts of time, can get you free prizes on things with high retreat costs, and it's just an incredibly strong card. So 2 Seismitoad EX really adds another dimension to this kind of a deck. We have 1 Darkrai EX. I don't like Darkrai as much now that fighting Pokemon are so strong, with strong energy, weak to fighting, so many of them can easily knock you out in one hit. Even though you have 180 HP, just think about a Landorus EX with a strong energy muscle band and a fighting stadium is knocking you out in one hit. We do keep Darkrai around for the Dark Cloak and the fact that he gives us a different kind of weakness with this deck, but he's not quite as good as he used to be. And then Garbodor just helps a lot against Virizion Genesect decks to allow us to play those Hypnotoxic lasers, which we'll take a look at in a second, and also our main way of dealing with Pyroar. So Garbodor, pretty natural pair with this kind of deck. We've seen other people try to use Raichu instead. That is definitely an option, now that Yveltal EX has shown that it's going to continue to be popular. So you could certainly replace the Garbodor with Raichu if you wanted to, but the more standard option will just be this Garbotoxin. Right? Like I said, we do have 4 Hypnotoxic Laser and then 2 Verbank City Gym just to add some poison damage. Makes your knockouts way easier. Instead of Dark Patch, we now have Energy Switch. You can't really use a lot of them though, so we're going to stick with 2 in this kind of a deck. We're going to go with 4 Muscle Band just because adding that damage is so crucial. And then 2 Float Stone to use on the Garbodor. You can always attach a Muscle Band if need be, but we want to use the Float Stone to activate Garbotoxin when we can. And then for the supporters, 4 Professor Juniper, 4 N, 2 Colress, and then 2 Bicycle. We're also going to have 2 Lysander in here. Dowsing Machine is the A-Spec card. And I like to think of Jirachi EX as another supporter. Stellar Guidance lets us search for any supporter. We usually use this before Garbotoxin comes into effect. It ends up being really good in this kind of deck. since we can Ultra Ball for it, you know, if you've ever had one of those bad hands, but all you have, I mean, you do have an Ultra Ball, but no supporter. Now you have a supporter. Just Ultra Ball for Jirachi, Stellar Guidance for a supporter, and hey, all of a sudden you have a fresh hand. So Jirachi, certainly a valuable card in this deck, well worth the 2 prize liability it is. Alright, other cards we have in here, 2 switching cards, 1 switch, 1 escape rope. I feel like that's fairly standard at this point in the format. 1 Professor's Letter just to search out our basic energy. Then we have 8 Darkness, 4 double colorless, and that will round out this deck. A very strong deck. You're probably going to see it a lot at regional championships. In the first week, it was extremely popular and extremely successful, so it's certainly going to see more play. And of course, let's see the deck in action on Pokemon TCG Online and see if we can get a good game with our Yveltal Seismitoad Garbodor deck. Now, my opponent has told me to go first. I always have kind of a mixed reaction when I see this sort of thing. Initially, it's alright. I get to go first. That is awesome. But then it's like, wait, what kind of a crazy deck is my opponent playing that I actually get to go first? Ugh, that's kind of scary. But anyway, we're going to Ultra Ball, getting rid of Chorus and N to grab a Trubbish right here. So we can drop a Float Stone on the Trubbish. Garbodor is extremely important against this kind of Team Plasma deck that we're seeing right here. See a Deoxys EX. We assume it's some kind of Team Plasma deck. Could be a Virizion Genesect deck, but nope, we see the Deoxys and the Lugia EX come down right away. Roller Skate's going to be Tails. And now looks like we'll see what my opponent does. Just a Rainbow Energy and a pass for the turn, so not a great start for my opponent. Let's see if we can capitalize. Unfortunately, I don't have much to capitalize right now, so this does not look particularly good. I'm going to attach that DCE, though, and Evil Ball for 100 damage. You know, could have attached the Muscle Band for the extra 20. Wouldn't have made a difference, though. No real reason to do that extra 20. We just see the Plasma Energy from my opponent and a Helix Force, and oh, okay, we do get Professor Juniper off the top of the deck here. Now, I think I'm not going to bother attaching to the active. I'm going to Juniper try to draw something else that I could perhaps power up with an energy attachment this turn. I feel like I should Y Cyclone here. The Yveltal EX only has 50 HP in the active spot, very vulnerable, and I would love to Y Cyclone if possible. So I am going to Ultra Ball here. I don't have an energy card, though. Gonna grab a second Yveltal EX. Could have done Garbodor, but I feel like getting the attacker is more important here. Bicycle for 2 misses. Bicycle for 1 hits a home run. And there we go. Got the energy attachment, Y Cyclone. Now we have a knockout. An Yveltal EX on the bench with 3 energy and a Muscle Band, and things are looking pretty good. My opponent does top deck a random receiver, though, into an N. Uh-oh, and a startling Megaphone. Oh my goodness. This can go downhill very quickly. A lot of supporters in my discard pile already as well. And, oh, that's not a good looking N by any means. Thunderous EX coming down, but just a Plasma Energy on the active Lugia EX. So maybe we have survived the turn. But this hand is not particularly strong at this point. You know, my tools got discarded by that Megaphone. Not great. I think I'm just going to attach here and go with an Evil Ball for 80 damage. That way, if Lugia EX comes out at a future time, we can just knock it out with another Evil Ball. Normally, it takes a lot of energy to knock out Lugia EX in one hit, so it'll be nice to just get a knockout here whenever it comes out next. Another random receiver from my opponent and a Professor Juniper, so 7 fresh cards, making my hand look not very good. And I'm assuming Thunderous EX will knock out my Yveltal EX and also get an energy out of the discard pile onto a benched Pokemon. Another Deoxys EX coming into play. Roller Skate's going to be Tails. So yeah, this is going to be kind of scary. Now, I do have Ultra Ball. I didn't play it last turn because there are a lot of resources I didn't really want to get rid of. if Jirachi EX is in my deck, I totally forgot to look, I can at least get a supporter card and get a fresh hand. That'll be my best option here. A third Deoxys EX coming out on the board, though. That is scary. Now Lugia EX can easily Plasma Gale for a knockout in the future. There is the Riding Knuckle for 160 damage. Ooh, that's a knockout. Second Plasma Energy going on to the Lugia EX on the bench. And I'm just going to promote the Yveltal EX here and pray, okay? See if we can find something to do here. So let's see, a fourth energy here. It's 120 damage. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 120. And then Muscle Band and Laser will be a knockout. So I do have that going for me. I can definitely knock out Thunderous EX here. And the question here is, do I Ultra Ball and get Jirachi, or just attach Laser, Muscle Band, and get the knockout? Because it's looking kind of scary, right? If I get the knockout, I could easily be knocked out right back by that Lugia EX. So I may want to Ultra Ball for Jirachi EX, get a big supporter, and try to get some more things into play. Notably that Garbodor, if I can shut off Deoxys' Helix Force Power Connect, then we'll be in some good shape. So let's go with the Stellar Guidance. Looks like I'm going to go right for Professor Juniper. Don't have any Colress left, otherwise, well, it wouldn't have made a difference. Let's go for the Hypnotoxic Laser. Got a Heads and a Juniper. And here we go, Garbodor coming out. And that means we can go ahead and play him down, get a Float Stone, and, potentially stop a knockout next turn, since we'll shut off those abilities. My opponent would need a DC and a Muscle Band to get a knockout next turn, so not the easiest thing in the world, but now also needs a Startling Megaphone to discard the Float Stone on Garbodor. And here I have two decisions. I could just Y-Cyclone, I'll leave the Thunderous with 30 HP left, or go for the Big Evil Ball, and I'm going to go for the Big Evil Ball. We're going to take a risk here. Now, I could be knocked out by a Helix Force from Deoxys EX. I have 5 energy on the Yveltal EX. And, of course, if the Lugia gets powered up with DCE, Muscle Band, and Startling Megaphone, it'll be pretty much, I don't want to say game over, but that'll hurt a lot. I should be able to respond with, a Quaking Punch from Seismitoad EX, but it's going to hurt a lot if my opponent can get all that stuff out right here. So will it happen? Will we see the big Plasma Gale for a knockout? I'm not sure how many Plasma Energy my opponent has gone through, so Helix Force may not be an option here. Not sure how many Megaphones my opponent plays. One is already in the discard pile from the earlier one. So my opponent would have to draw a very good combination of cards here to get a knockout. And if my opponent doesn't get a knockout, I should probably win the game. I have a third DCE, a Laser, Dowsing Machine. If I want to, there's probably something I could grab out of the discard that would win me the game too. And there we have it, just the Riding Knuckle for 100 damage. And that means we should be able to do, I don't even need to do math here. I just know Yveltal with that many energy should be a knockout. And yeah, we're just going to attach that third DCE and Evil Ball for 200 damage. Ouch. So goodbye Thunderous EX. And we didn't even have to use Seismitoad that game. This was just more of Yveltal EX showing how good it still is. But hope you guys... Oh, wait, I got the mystery box. What's in the box? We got to find out what's in the box. What is in the mystery box? Will it be something crazy? Nope, just a pack of Furious Fists. But that's fine, too. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll certainly have some more for you soon. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I'll see you guys next time.